bank needs to produce money. If you create a condition where there is no money, you know what this means? Mula, dinero. My father has always been a hardworking man. He's a laborer, he's a worker, business class. Si no produce dinero, el banco, right? The IMF produces money. If the bank does not produce money, then you have to steal from the bank. How are you going to get money? Logic and reasoning. What gives you logic and reasoning and conditioning? Condition, right? Your environment is the condition. The environment conditions social and psychological aspects of it. How am I going to go and pay for gasoline if I don't have money? My father says it. Where's the money? There's no dollarocracy in Puerto Rico. There's no dollarocracy. The U.S. does not give IMF money to Puerto Rico. Currency. They don't give that. They don't give finance money. You know how much depreciation, inflation is in the U.S. currency? Crazy. That's finance, right? Now we're going to talk about, this is finance and this is banking. Finance produces money. Banking is supposed to produce money. Banking does not produce money because this here, the IMF, takes this here. Everything that this produces, this bank produces, this finance system with its money steals and takes over this system because it's bigger and its transactions are more. So it overtakes the banking sector. Finance overtakes the banking system. So people have to steal from the bank. It doesn't look. Come to Puerto Rico and live in Puerto Rico. See how long it takes so you can get mula. How long it takes? I've been in Puerto Rico for over a year, 2 years. I have not seen this. No dinero. Nobody moves money here because if the bank decides to produce money, like a Puerto Rico billete with my face on it, God's liberator, that finance system will see this business doing money, this business doing transaction. Then what happens? That finance system comes and takes over this little business. Because that's what the IMF is, man. The IMF, that's its business. That's what the IMF does. Look at, the housing industry. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. What happened? It took over that sector. After the bank does its transaction. People did the little transaction with the bank. That's bank money. And this is bank money and this is IMF money. IMF went when the bank did its money and took the bank's capital away from them. And now the bank is crippled and has liability, and that's it. Now this finance system has assets, and that's the problem. Banks don't want to deal. They don't deal as long as the IMF continues that bullshit. They don't deal. They don't want to deal with anything. They don't want to print money because they have to go to war with that bank. They know it. You know how much capital you have to spend to fight the IMF? Nicaragua, Argentina, Brazil, all of these countries that are sanctioned by that bank, by that financial bank. That's trade. That's trade there. So we have finance, banking, and trade. That bank, IMF, goes to war with trade, it goes to war with banking sector. If the bank does not produce money, then you have to go steal. Because your condition, look at your condition. You start to deteriorate. You get hungry. But you must labor. You must survive. How are you going to survive? You got to go to the bank and steal from the bank. What you go to the bank because who else are you going to go to? You're going to try to steal against that IMF? The IMF is stronger than the bank. You go to the weak to steal because you need something. You need to buy gasoline. You need to pay for sneakers. There's no money. It's not, the banks don't want to produce money because they have to fight the IMF, finance and capital.